Welcome to the Fitness Oracle, where we have real conversations with real people just like you. Each episode, we uncover captivating stories that resonate with your own experiences. And today, we have a remarkable tale to share with you. I am your host, John Katsavos, and joining me today are two extraordinary individuals, a mother and daughter team, Debbie and Jackie Wetzler. Jackie was born and raised in Maryland, and always had big dreams of making a difference and leaving her mark on the world. She pursued a career as a TV news reporter and anchor, but soon realized it wasn't her true passion. Jackie craved freedom from the confines of a 9-to-5 job, freedom from a monotony of a cubicle, and most importantly, the freedom to help others. In her quest for purpose, Jackie posted a simple comment on Facebook searching for a life coach. Little did she know that this one act would change the course of her life forever. A life coach reached out to Jackie and asked her about her ideal job. Jackie shared her desires, and the coach gave her an unexpected advice. Jackie, you might want to talk to your mom. It turned out that Jackie's mom was a highly influential figure in ASEA, a renowned company. At an ASEA convention in 2017, Jackie's eyes were opened through the power of Redox Signaling, and she realized that this was her mission, her purpose. Today, 5 years into her journey, Jackie has become one of the millennial leaders in ASEA, simultaneously making a living of transforming lives. In this episode, we explore the fascinating world of redox signaling and ASEA. What is it? How does it work? And most importantly, how can you experience its benefits for yourself? Stay tuned as we dive deep into these captivating topics with Jackie and Debbie Wetzler. Are you ready to take your life to the next level? Join the Fitness Oracle newsletter today for an exclusive range of perks. As a subscriber, you'll be the first to know about our new episodes, gaining early access before they're released to the public. But wait, there's more. You'll also receive a personal one-on-one phone call with me where we'll discuss your fitness goals and devise a plan to help you achieve them. Plus, you'll gain access to our private community where we hold regular calls to discuss episodes and how you're implementing the lessons in your life. And that's not all. As a member of our exclusive community, you'll gain access to exciting programs that we're launching, enabling you to continue your journey towards optimal health and wellness. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Join the Fitness Oracle newsletter today and embark on a transformative path to a healthier, happier you. Remember, your journey starts here. Debbie, Jackie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So how are you two doing so far? Jackie, I saw on your Facebook that you just got married or you're getting married?
Getting married September 30th. Got 3 months.
Very exciting. Very exciting. You two both are probably very excited for this.
Yes. Yes. Big event.
Well, congratulations on your upcoming wedding.
Thank you.
And Debbie, congratulations on marrying off your daughter. It's I know it's a big step into somebody's life.
It is. And I've been trying to get rid of her for years, but now it's finally happening.
The type of relationship we have.
Teasing. Exactly. I'm teasing.
I saw it with my own sister how much closer a mother and daughter get after a wedding. So I've seen it firsthand. So you get even closer. Sometimes for the brothers, not.
We're pretty close.
We've been together for a while.
Very cool. Very cool. I always kick off the show with asking these first two questions before we jump into it, just to set the foundation kind of thing. what got both of you interested in, I usually say this line of work, but we're talking about ASEA redox signaling today. So what got you first interested with it?
I'll let my mom start first.
Well, I was introduced to it 13 years ago by a good friend who lived in Colorado. I lived in Maryland at the time. And I'd always been interested in health because my father had come down with cancer after being an engineer for Standard Oil, and petroleum products give you cancer. And so I'd been on a quest to kind of look for things that really could help people at the cellular level to turn things around and help you be well and healthy. Instead of always, drugs and surgery are needed sometimes, definitely, but instead of always turning to that. And so she knew I was very interested in health. So she called me and said, there's been a breakthrough in the medical field, and, you know, your name popped into my head. And so I think you should know about this. This has saved one of my best friend's lives and really helped two others with their health. And I instantly sat up, and I'll make this short. I watched a video explaining what redox is, where it was made, what it did for the body. I was astounded if this was true, but I trusted my friend. But I luckily had a girlfriend who was very smart and graduated from Johns Hopkins as a molecular biologist. And she'd gotten a job at the National Institutes of Health in the mental division doing research and overseeing research. And so I drove to her house that day and put the information down in front of her, and she looked at me and almost fell off her chair and just said, Debbie, I have been studying these molecules for 17 years, and we've had scientists from around the world come to NIH. Are you telling me that somebody was finally able to stabilize these molecules outside the human body in a bioactive form? And when I said yes, she just said, this is massive, and this will change the medical field as you know it. So that's what got me very interested. My mother had several health challenges. I got it on her immediately and saw her body responding and turning around her health in record time. So that's what got me interested. Jackie?
And then, you know, I had been on the product for 7 years, never thought I'd be doing the business. But when I was on a quest to figure out what I wanted to do in life, I had become a news reporter and anchor, and landed my first NBC job in Wyoming. And I experienced that for about a year and a half. The whole reason I got into television is because I always wanted to make a big impact and be known for something really good. However, news reporting has very little time freedom in it. And that's what I craved as a person. And I thought there has to be something better out there. So long story short, I posted a comment in search of a life coach on Facebook, and a woman reached out to me who happened to be a life coach and also working in ASEA, and we could get to talking, and I told her, you know, I don't want a 9 to 5. I don't see myself working in a cubicle. I want to help people, and, you know, I want that time freedom, basically. And she said, Jackie, you might not want to hear this, but you might want to talk to your mom. So I rolled my eyes again, but 2 weeks later, as divine intervention is and divine timing, it was our international convention. And that's where my watershed moment was, in realizing how big of a breakthrough this really is, and that all people deserve to at least hear about it.
Very cool. Very cool. Has there been any moments where either of you said, you know what, screw this. I'm just going to I'm just going to go back to a 9 to 5 job, just zone out and just tune out of the world?
Absolutely not.
It's hard. I mean, it's network marketing, and it is work, and you go through the ups and downs and so forth, but you always have to have a big enough why to get your skin in the game and keep going. And there's I think no other better way of making an income while, you know, impacting lives hugely and getting paid for it. So
it's interesting. You said why, and I've been on my quest, I guess you can say, to identify and solidify my why of why am I still doing the Fitness Oracle? Why am I doing all this? What was your why?
the whole reason, I mean, like the time freedom, I didn't want a 9 to 5. I didn't want to go back to that life, or or even more, because news reporting, you're always on call. You're working every holiday. You're working weekends. That time freedom, but making that impact and, creating your own dream and not someone else's. And the concept of residual income is, I think, very cool. I think everybody should at least know about that as well. And yeah, you're doing this all, and you're getting paid for it by improving people's lives like no other in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. You said a few things in there, but I want to touch up on, but I really want to stay focused on the redox signaling and everything that's going on, because last week we had Danielle Matthews on and we talked about the exact same product. I found it funny that I have you ladies back to back on this. So it just, and when she was talking to me, it got me really interested, because it's kind of hard to believe that saline actually is this this kind of like miracle thing that fixes everything and everything. It's a little salt water. It's a little hard to believe, but I'm open to a lot of stuff, and this is one of them. What I am curious is, what is redox signaling?
Well, they didn't know much about it before about 1990. And then scientists were able to create instruments that were sophisticated enough to be able to look and see what they were and what they did, because they're very tiny, like 4 atoms big or smaller. They do their work in nanoseconds. So they just thought it was waste material until 1990. Then they found out that it's actually reductants and oxidants. So RAD for reductant, OX for oxidants. And that reductants are what go out and turn on and activate the antioxidants in your body. They also help you create and efficiently use the antioxidants that our body makes. And we make 3 master antioxidants: glutathione, SOD, and catalase. And then the oxidants are what allow the cells to signal and communicate, which is what keeps you breathing and your blood pumping, and you don't have to think about it. But since you are meant to be healthy, one of the biggest jobs they do is to go out and find any damaged cells. So any disease you have, any injury, high blood pressure, whatever it is, all of those are damaged cells. And these molecules are what go out and look for them, and then send a very clear signal to the immune system. So the immune system knows now where to go, since that's how the body works, to come in and repair and replace the damaged cells. And in that way, if all your cells are healthy, then you're healthy. And that's what it is. Go ahead.
And just to clarify, your body makes them out of salt and water, because your cells are little bags of salt water. So they're made inside of the mitochondria of your cells. And what your body does is it breaks water into hydrogen and oxygen, and salt into sodium and chloride. So now you have 4 atoms. And your body reconfigures them into these different redox molecules. So for instance, O2 superoxide, that's a redox molecule. And H2O2, that's hydrogen peroxide, that's another redox molecule. So there's about 16 different variations. And ASEA does the same thing out of pure water and pure salt. And it goes through a patented process with intellectual properties to make the identical same molecules. So it's no longer salt water anymore.
Or saline. And the issue is, you also start losing them when you hit puberty. So I usually say age 10 for most people, at 10% per decade. So wow. That's why you don't heal as you get older as quickly as you did when you were 5. And as you get really old, like my mother was 88 when she started, she wasn't healing at all. But when we introduced these back into her body healed of 9 different major things.
Interesting. Debbie, you said something there, and I want to touch up on it. Redundant material, that the body has this redundant material in the body. And I have always believed that is a falsehood. Nature does not do anything that is just waste material. I'm a firm and strong believer of that. If we look at the world around us, on this planet at least, there is nothing in this world that is done by accident.
Right.
So I find it interesting that that your company or your scientists have found out that this has that this miracle, I'm not going to call it a miracle, this ingredient has been identified. I'm curious to get your two perspective on how much other stuff have we missed and labeled it as redundant or waste material in the human body.
And that's something that I think we're going to keep discovering, because, like I said, they didn't know. They didn't know, like I said, before 1990, during the Krebs cycle, when the mitochondria takes the food you eat and turns it into energy, they thought this was waste produced during that Krebs cycle. And then now every medical student is studying redox molecules, reductants and oxidants, and they know what it does. I mean, there's been 6 Nobel Prizes awarded for redox research since 1990. And there's redox research centers open at almost every university in the United States, as well as around the world. And then just this past week in Paris in June, they had the 25th annual Redox Congress, where scientists from around the world flew in to find out what new things they've learned about redox. It's a huge area of science. And you're right, the body produced it for very specific things and foundational things for your health. These are the molecules that literally keep your body healthy and young. And Jackie?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think there's a purpose for everything in the body, of course. There's new discoveries happening every year, I believe. And so, like, I remember when my mom first got into this, like PubMed.gov, that's where doctors do their research. There's only about 2,000 peer-reviewed studies done with redox signaling molecules. And now you type it in and there's over 37,000. So it continues to grow, along with many other discoveries. But this is just one that has been done outside the human body in a bioactive form. And I think it's a huge breakthrough.
The redox signal, I'm trying to wrap this around my head a little bit. The signaling, is this a cellular impulse that goes to the cell? Is this a trigger that happens from the nervous system or the immune system or a subconscious level? What exactly does the signaling, and how does it help identify where it needs the help in the body?
Well, you're getting a little bit above our pay grade here, but
Yeah, a little too sciencey.
They are electrical pulses. So, this is based on electricity, direct current. We are a direct current. That's why they can do EKGs and stuff like that. So these are electric pulses. That's why it's so important to be hydrated when you do this, because water is what helps pass these electrical impulses through your body. So if you're not hydrated, it doesn't work as well. Anyway, and so they're passed that way. And since they've been doing research on redox, they find what we do with the liquid form of the redox liquid is we swish it around in our mouths. The receptors under your tongue take it right into your cell membrane walls when you swallow it. It does not go down your esophagus. It goes right into the cell membrane walls, and it starts telling those cells what to do, which tells next cells what to do, next cells. It's a cascading effect. So it goes all through the body. And like I said, if there's an impulse and one of the cells goes, I'm damaged, like, for instance, like a cancer cell, I'm damaged, that sends that pulse out. The body comes in and looks at it, and these molecules come in and says, you're too badly damaged, kill yourself off, or we can repair you, let us repair you. So either way, your cell gets healthy again.
I think the body is just a very intelligent machine if given the right tools. So
Right.
Your body knows what to do. It's just a matter of giving it the right things.
Jackie, you said something there. If given the right tools, it's going a little bit outside the scope of what I wanted to talk about today, but I think it's too important to not to dig into this one. How do you see the food system and the water supply in today's world, and how do you think that ASEA can help repair the damage that we're doing to our bodies, all this junk food and all these pollutants in our water system and our food system?
We believe, I mean, the nutrition is corrupt. You know, we're not getting all the vitamins and minerals from our food. The soil's depleted. Our water is contaminated, and you know, that's all doing effects to our body. So we could be trying to do all the right things, eating right, drinking enough water, sleeping, exercising, but due to environmental toxins and stress and what we eat and so forth, our bodies are always becoming damaged, our cells and so forth. And so if you're doing everything right, but still there's a problem, this could very well be the missing link for people in at least making the cell communication of our body very strong. So your cells get the message that they're supposed to help heal your body. And then, yes, I think we need to supplement our body with probably a lot of different types of supplements and or nutrition, because we're just not getting it.
Yeah, these molecules can only go so far. I've seen people eat terribly, get well, but they continued to eat terribly, and they went back to being sick again. Because there's only so much any molecules can do. So we always encourage people to eat, if you can, you know, even food that you grow would be the best, but, you know, not everybody has access to that. But, you know, organic, non-GMO, all that kind of stuff, and get exercise and really good sleep, and drink good water that's been maybe filtered with the minerals put back in, because you can find systems that do that. And that's what we encourage people, because your body needs really good water also. And there is not a place in the world that I know of right now without some contamination in the water.
Yeah. And it's sad. Excuse me. Yeah, and it's pretty sad that you can't find clean water. At least it's like here in Ontario, we have the fires that are happening, and like yesterday I went out for a walk, and it was like this weird fog, weird smell in the air, and it's like, this is all going into food.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
So changing gears a little bit and going back onto track, I want to talk about a little bit of the ingredients of what's inside ASEA, because like I said, saline is a little tough pill to swallow. Even Danielle told me, she goes, it was a tough pill for her too to swallow.
It was. Yeah.
It's a little hard to believe that it's just saline. Is there anything else inside of it that you guys can talk about?
There's nothing else inside of it. They literally, but the process that they do is got 200 trade secrets on it. It's like the Coca-Cola formula. No one will ever know that unless you are one of the top guys at Coca-Cola, I guess. And we have 23 patents on it. So it's just, if you know anything about chemistry at all, there's those two molecules, water and salt, and they do split the salt into two atoms, so sodium and chloride, and they split the water into hydrogen and oxygen, like Jackie was talking about earlier, and then they just reconfigure them, and there's about around 16 different types. So there's O2, there's H2O2, there's HCl. All of those are redox molecules. When they go out and do their job, and once they've signaled, they turn right back into salt water. Your body always has a supply. They just start running out of mitochondria that make these molecules. So you lose the mitochondria. So you're losing your energy also as you get older. So that's what it is. And that's, you know, why it's not salt and water anymore. It's redox molecules. It's completely different than salt water.
A good analogy is like when you're making bread, you have the ingredients of eggs, flour, yeast, all of the things. But at the end of the process, you have bread now. Well, same thing, you take salt and water, but at the end of the process, you now have different redox signaling molecules. So a lot of people go, oh, that makes sense.
You need to learn more bread ingredients.
Yeah, it's the only ones I can think of right now.
A lot of people that are listening to this show, they're suffering from depression. Have you guys ever seen this help people that are suffering from depression, mental disorders, suicidal thoughts, stuff like that? Have you seen stuff like that, like concussions? I've suffered from 6 concussions in my life. And I can't spin my nephews to get them dizzy enough so that they can't stand. And it kills me that I can't do it because I get sick for like days.
Absolutely.
Have you seen stuff like that happen and help people with head injuries and stuff like that?
Well, I'll just start and then I'll let Jackie finish. But my girlfriend at the National Institute of Health worked in the mental division. She was the first one to tell me these molecules would go through your blood-brain barrier, which drugs don't do. So in her words, well, I won't repeat it because it's not compliant, but she said, not only will you have amazing results in the body, you're also going to have amazing results with all the mental issues that people have, which, people know about Alzheimer's and autism and mental retardation and brain injury like Danielle had and stuff like that. So it's helping to repair everything in your body, your brain included. And then we did a genetic study on these molecules. We took it to Torit Labs, who do the testing for Ancestry.com. And we said, we just want to know if this has any effect on turning back on genes and genetic pathways, or if it has no effect. And so they did a double-blind, placebo-based study with 35-year-old healthy men and women. And they gave salt water to one half of them. They gave redox molecules to the other half. The salt water had absolutely no change at all. And this was on 8 ounces a day and for 8 weeks. And 100% of the people on redox had a significant increase in turning on genes in many different areas, but 5 very impactful areas where it increased the genetic pathway strength by 20 to 31%. And that was the immune system function, inflammatory response, cardiovascular and arterial elasticity, hormone balance, and healthy gut and enzymes, digestive. And the hormones are what help with releasing serotonin, for one thing. And so there's a great increase when you take this of releasing serotonin, which is what keeps you happy and in a good mood and very equal and stuff like that. So we've had lots of people that have had significant results with using this, with just feeling, happy and good again. And myself, I used to kind of get down and maybe not really talk to people for about 3 days, about every 6 weeks or so. I haven't had that once in 13 years now. And Jackie, I'm sorry, I was going to let you ask.
No, that's basically it. I mean, ironically, I just spoke to someone else yesterday who is medically depressed, and she said to me yesterday that she hasn't taken any medication the last 6 weeks. She's been on it for 2 months, but she just overall feels really good. And so to hear things like that, and we always do health trackers with people so we can track people's progress in different areas of health. It's astounding. I mean, 9 out of 10 are usually 10 out of 10 people, their numbers just go up in every area of health because these molecules go everywhere in the body. So.
why hasn't the medical system picked this up? I mean, this seems like, especially psychologists. I mean, back in October of 2021, I was clinically depressed, according to my doctor, and he put me on some kind of drug. I never took the drugs. He told me to take it. I was just flushing him down the toilet. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to take drugs and then all of a sudden go kill myself.
Right.
But
Good idea.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's like, here you have this one product that actually helps people, and yet the medical system doesn't want to pick it up. Have you guys had any resistance? Well, I'm sure I know what the answer is, but but just to verbalize the answer,
Yeah.
what kind of resistance has ASEA seen with the traditional medical system? Because this seems like this great product that can actually help people get out of depression.
I'll just say, well, first of all, we do have thousands of doctors that do use it and tell patients that they think they ought to be on it. But in Canada, you've got a different system, so I don't think your doctors are allowed to, unfortunately. So, but people have to start realizing a little bit how corrupt pharmaceutical and regulatory agencies can be when it comes down to money. I think they started out with a good heart and wanted to help people, but then they saw how much they could make by producing drugs and not having people be healthy. And so to exemplify that, our founder was offered a humongous check to sell this, because that's what he was going to do. It was a business deal for him. He was going to sell this to a pharmaceutical company, hoping they would get it out to the world and let everybody be healthy. But luckily he had gotten this on 40 people that were friends, family, and church members first, who had major health issues. And when he saw them all turn around, all of them, in 2.5 months, and then ship it to more people that they loved, 135 in 20 countries. When he was dealing with the pharmaceutical company, because they'd flown in on a private jet, and they offered him, they said, we want this. Here's the check. Don't talk to anyone else. And if you take that check, you and everybody comes off the product today, and we shut you down. And he so smart and such a man of integrity that he knew instantly that the world would never hear about this if he took that check. And he couldn't look those people in the eye, because he loved them, and say, you can't have this anymore. I'm sorry this saved your life, but now I'm going to take it away. He just couldn't do that. So he turned down their check and said, no, the world deserves to know about this, and I'm going to get it out in some way. And so he chose this way because he knew people like Jackie and myself and Danielle would be educating people about this, because you have to be educated. Like you said, salt water's a little hard to believe, but if we try to educate you on what happens with the process, and then what these molecules can do, then you can make an informed decision as to if you'd like to try it or not. And it's 100% safe, can't hurt anyone. They spent $5 million on studies that proved it was completely non-toxic. We have never, ever had a bad reaction to it. And we have never been sued.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's in 14 years, because this started 14 years ago. And I just spoke to our legal department to get our say on that. So anyway, And Jackie, if you'd like to add anything, we just, they used to be good, and they used to do, and I know they do research. They find answers, but they don't ever bring them out. They don't publish them. I mean, we've been giving how many millions and millions of dollars to cancer research, and there's not one cure yet. That's a little hard to take in. And I happen to know people who know that there are cures, and they were never published. And that's very sad to me.
It's interesting that you said that, because I do know a cancer researcher, and she is awake I'm just going to say
Yes.
that. She is awake. She's not woke, which is a completely backwards um,
Yeah.
way of saying things, but she is awake. And she told me the reason why they haven't really found a cure for cancer is because there's too many variables involved. Like you find one and then a different variable comes around and it completely takes all your research and just throws it out the window. I have my arguments with her all the time whenever I see her.
Well, I knew two people that used to work at NIH that had found cures and finally went into their bosses and said, why hasn't this been published? And they laughed and said, well, you wouldn't have a job. And they both quit. They said, this is not what we signed up for.
Yeah. I remember in the 90s, there was a doctor in Italy that found a cure. His research is missing. And so is he.
Yes, exactly.
Another doctor.
That's happened many times. Yeah.
Another doctor in the late 1800s in Greece found a cure for cancer. His research is missing, and so is he.
So is he. Yep. It's very sad.
Yeah.
I think.
How does this work with supplements? Does it act like an absorption? Does it increase the absorption rate for the supplements, amplifying their effects? Is there any waste products from the supplements? Because we all know that when you take a multivitamin, for example, your pee turns fluorescent. You can see it in the dark. And that's just the excess amount of nutrients that are leaving your body. How does ASEA help with the absorption rate of the vitamin or the nutrient into the body?
Well, I'll just say that if you are already taking supplements, it's gonna, yes, help absorb it and make it more effective. On the flip side, you have to make sure they're good quality vitamins, because if you're not taking the right ones, they can be known as what's like potty pellets and go straight through you, where you don't absorb anything. But a lot of people have been able to cut back on their supplements because they no longer need X, Y, and Z for inflammation or any other thing that this has been able to help. So a lot of people have cut back and saved a lot of money on different supplements as well. It's not nutritional though. So you might still need, like, for instance, everybody needs extra vitamin D typically. So it's not going to take the place of vitamin D. But if you still need other supplements that your body's just not getting, it's going to help absorb it and make it more effective.
It just makes your cells perform like they're supposed to perform. So, and cells are supposed to be getting nutrition in. So if they're performing at their peak, a lot of times you don't need to take as much to get the full effect from them.
What about stuff like protein? Like, let's say a man, and a young man wants to gain a little extra muscle. A lot of the time, the amount of protein that they take in, they let it go from the other end. Would ASEA help the repair cycle for muscular thickening after they're done the gym? Have you guys ever come across something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually took this. We wanted to do an athletic study with these molecules, and we took it to the University of North Carolina Research Institute, and they put it in a $500 million machine first to test to make sure they were redox. So that was one test. We've done it many times. And then they gave it to athletes before they ever performed, before they were performing. And they found that within 20 minutes, they went into fatty acid metabolism. So now you're burning the fatty acids around your abdomen and your organ. It's leaving the glycogen in your muscle and your brain where it's needed for, like, especially at the end of a race. And so a lot of people, so we've had tons of athletes because it's approved by WADA, the World Anti-Doping Association. You can't even, it's identical to what your body makes. So once you put it in, they can't find it anyway. So it's completely legal. And the Olympic Training Committee, we've had Olympic athletes on it. We've had pickleball, tennis, bicyclists, you name it, and very well-known ones. Most of the NHL knows about it, and they're on it. Like the Avalanche just won the Stanley Cup last year. Some of our players are on it here in Colorado. So we've got people around the world on this because they know about it, and it can give them a clear, distinct benefit and what am I looking for?
More endurance and faster recovery.
Yeah, more endurance, faster recovery, all that kind of stuff. It's great for athletes. And so, yes, it can help you build muscle, definitely.
Build muscle. And then basically, and then we have two other tests on how it increases your VO2 levels, which is volume of oxygen, by about 12%. That's huge, which steroids are illegal and bad for you. They only raise VO2 levels by about 3%. And then we gave mice this, and they went 29% longer on this for absolutely no reason. The point of exhaustion, basically. So it can't hurt any living thing, humans, animals, and plants. They all make redox. We all start losing them as we age. And so it can help any living thing as well.
The animals that don't have a placebo effect, we've got so many animal stories.
That is really cool. That's
Yeah,
really
it
cool.
is.
Like
And it saves a lot of vet bills.
well, I can talk from experience about the side effects of steroids because I was on steroids. So I tried steroids when I was a lot younger. And
Yeah, not good.
I mean, while the results are, you can't argue the results. I mean, I gained close to 50 pounds of 20 pounds of lean muscle in 2 weeks. I increased my bench press by 100 pounds, my squats. You can't by 300 pounds. It was ridiculous, the amounts of results that I had when I was on. But the heart attack that I almost had, I never wanted to do that. I never did that. I never did it again after that. It was only 2 weeks. And to
2
see,
weeks.
sorry,
Wow. Only 2 weeks?
only 2 weeks.
Whoa, okay.
I was taking some hard steroids,
Wow.
And my heart physically got hurt because of it. So, and ever since then, I have been on a mission to find products like this so I can not just quote unquote, fix myself, but just to lead a more healthier, happier life. And to find a product like this, I've never tried it. I don't know what ASEA can do for me. I'm very curious about it. And when I become curious, I test things.
Right.
Well, you should test your blood too before.
Yeah, it does amazing things to the blood.
I don't know if I can, I don't have the tools to test my blood, but that's fine.
If you just go to your doctor and get like a panel.
Oh yeah, right. This is Canada.
Anyway, that's right. No, but these molecules, your body directs it to go to the vital organs first. So that's your heart, liver, kidney, digestive, and gut health. Because those are crucial for you to live. So they go there first. And so if you've got a sore elbow and it's not getting better, and you're thinking this isn't working, you don't feel your heart heal. And you don't, like my mother didn't feel her heart heal, but it did. Mm-hmm. And your liver heal and your kidney heal. You don't feel that as it's happening, but you start noticing the difference, definitely.
Are there any side effects?
No, just good ones. The only thing that happens occasionally is if you're not drinking enough water, you can have a detox reaction because this will raise your master antioxidant, which is glutathione, the effectiveness and the production of it by 800%. Glutathione is your master antioxidant. It neutralizes free radicals. It helps detoxify you. So any of those steroids that are still in your body, it would help them start pulling it out. And so if you're not drinking enough water, they're not flushing out. So they can become trapped and they could give you a headache or sore muscles or a rash or diarrhea. but that's maybe 5%. And those 5%, literally you go back and go, how much water are you drinking? Oh, I drink water all the time. Well, you boil it down and they're drinking 1 glass a day, and that's a lot to them. So you have to be hydrated, and then your body functions properly. So there's never been a bad side effect.
So like a gallon of water a day, like that's what I drink on a daily basis.
Oh, that's probably plenty, but it's half your body weight in ounces is what you're supposed to do. So if you weighed 100 pounds, 50 ounces.
Okay. How much does this thing cost? That's one thing that's been on my mind, because it sounds like it has the potential to break the bank. And most people, especially in Canada, we're already struggling with food prices going up, gas prices going up, rent, water, you name it, everything's going up.
Well, it's only a couple of $1,000 a month. I'm kidding. Go ahead, Jackie, you tell.
Well, in US dollars, you can get it either wholesale or retail. I wouldn't recommend retail, but wholesale in US dollars is $130 a case. A case is 4 32-ounce bottles. This is what the bottle looks like. So you're typically you're getting a case a month. However, if you're older than 50 or have some more health issues going on, it's recommended that you drink more than the standard amount of a case, perhaps 2 cases.
Until you heal.
Yeah, you can play around with it, though. It's not a medication. People drink between 4 to 8 ounces a day, typically, depending on their age and their health. So that's the liquid. And then there's also a gel form, which is the same thing. It's just a gel. It's redox signaling molecules. Again, US dollars wholesale is $40. And it's always great to start with our flagship product of the liquid, because it's going to help you heal systemically, going on whatever's inside. The gel is used topically. It came out for people's faces to look younger, because our skin is our biggest organ. But the second biggest use, because people like in Australia were using it on their face and noticed their head discomfort going away. And so we use it for any muscular joint discomfort. But then anything on the outside of the skin that's damaged. So that could be cuts, burns, rashes, bug bites, you name it. Anything on the outside that needs to be healed, that's great for the topical use as well.
Yes, last week Danielle was talking to me about the cream, and they say that they found a very interesting effect, that if you rub it on the vastus nerve, like the vastus on the neck here, it has some interesting effects.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys like to talk about some of that?
Well, literally, if you rub it on the vagus nerve and the carotid arteries here, it literally takes care of anything in your body. It gets into your blood system very quickly. These redox, they'll absorb in like 1.7 seconds. Wow. So they go right in. They do their work and very quickly, and you can start feeling that. And if you know anything about muscle testing, like kinesiology, you can test this, and you are immediately, like, your body reacts to it very strongly. And so you're very strong right after you do that, because your body's saying, yes, this is good for me.
You could do a balance test. You could do a strength test.
Any of that stuff. You can test it all.
Interesting.
And doctors have. We've got a doctor, that's what he does all the time in Texas. He tests his patients with it and shows them how strong they are, and they immediately want it.
It's interesting, because I do muscle testing. That's my part-time love of my life, is the muscle testing. When I go into the gym, and you find some people that just recently I helped a lady relearn how to walk. And
wow,
you're saying that this will help strengthen and fortify that work? How's that even?
Guy I was just talking about put it on a man with a neurological disease where he shakes and has kind of spasm type, can't say the exact name, but And literally instantly, the man put down his cane and walked like he was supposed to. And that's what blows people's minds. That's what this does, things that doctors never thought they'd see, because we've never been able to put redox back in our body. No, we keep losing it. There's no way to get it back unless because we were able to tap into this science. But you could get a tube yourself, rub it right there, and have somebody test you, and you'd be instantly stronger.
That's fascinating.
It's hard to test yourself on it, but it is, because it's already in you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if somebody else tests you and does the strength test and tries to push your arm down.
It's weird because I say it's fascinating, but I do this test all the time
Sure.
in the supermarket.
Yeah, exactly. We've done these tests for years at this point, and it's amazing what you see with it.
That's awesome. We are coming up close to the end of the show, and these are the 10 questions that I ask all my guests, and I just want to get both your guys' perspective on these 10 questions. With the increase in people suffering from depression from the past 3 years of uncertainty that we've been living through, what's the one thing that you could tell them to keep their hopes up?
Be a light yourself. Light and high vibration brings other people up. And humans are nothing without hope. And I do think, as bad as it's gotten, that there are good people out there, and that we are banding together and we're becoming aware of what's actually happening, and we can fight this and win, basically. So be a light. That's what
I would say. I would say be open too, because there's so many good things out there. If people are open and receptive and do their research and do their due diligence, there's so many things that can help them mentally. So I would just say be open.
What's the one thing that you do daily that amplifies your ability to stay focused?
Take redox molecules. It does help you stay focused because it goes right to your brain.
I would say, going back to my why, just keep on chugging away and keep telling people, keep doing this. Because there's so many people out there that are praying for this.
Yeah, find a passion that you want to do, and that would give your life purpose, and find your why. Because I had a very strong why when I started this, and I got there, and it works. But it gives you purpose to do whatever you want to do.
Very cool. If you could pick up the phone right now and call yourself at 20 years old, what would you tell yourself?
Well, that was only 2 years ago. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. But no, 20 years old. I would have been an entrepreneur at 20 years old, knowing what I know. I started at 28, which is not too much further off, but I wouldn't go any other way.
I would tell myself, I guess, probably not to procrastinate. Just do things, take action, because that's what gets you ahead, and you learn from failure. So don't be afraid to fail, because everybody fails at one point, at least once. Mm-hmm. And learn from that, and then just keep moving forward. Take action, because you learn from doing action and over, and and then you get comfortable with what you're doing, and you're not fearful anymore.
Very cool. Looking back, would you change anything?
I would change one thing. I went sledding with my kids, and I compress fractured my back, and I lost height, and I compressed myself, and I would have not gone sledding that day. to keep that. But it led my life into getting into health and stuff like that. So I know there was a reason for it. That was just not a great way to learn about it.
Usually they're not. The biggest lessons are not the funnest lessons to learn.
No, it wasn't. Anyway, Jackie, anything for you?
No, I think everything happens for a reason, and
It does, yeah.
everybody has their own path, and never compare yourself to others. And yeah, I think everybody's path is how it's meant to be.
What's more important to a man, his word or his purpose?
Ooh. They're both very important.
But if you could pick one.
I guess I'd have to say purpose. But if you had a purpose and you didn't keep your word.
And they go hand in hand to me.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah, but action shows everything. So you can say a lot of things, but if you don't do it, it doesn't mean anything. So I guess purpose on that end.
Cool. What scares you?
I'm gonna say nothing, because when you're afraid of something, that's what you attract. So I'm gonna say nothing.
Excuse me. I think your why should scare you just a little bit, because you should make it big enough. Dream again, and because there's really nothing that you can't do. You just have to know you can, basically. Aside from physical, like I'll probably never be a star basketball player. I'm not tall enough at this point, but things like that. But I mean, there's nothing you can't do. So I think your why should scare you just a little bit. Mine does.
Okay. Where do you see your business in ASEA in the next 5 years?
I think this is going to keep growing and growing. I think it's going to be a household word, because we compare ourselves to antioxidants. No one knew what they were 40 years ago until, there actually was a network marketing company that got people to understand what they were. Now they're in everything, including cherry Coke. But these do so much more than antioxidants. And I already see doctors that are, redox doctors. I just heard of one in California and stuff like that. Redox is becoming a name that people, I've heard of that, that kind of thing. So it's not going to be too much longer before this is a household. And I think our businesses are going to explode because of that, because people are going to want to take their molecules every day. Jackie?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think the company as a whole is just going to continue to grow. We've grown every year in the last 14 years. We've done over $1 billion in sales since 2009. And as for ourselves, I envision, my mom's one of the top leaders in the company, and I envision myself getting there as well and beyond. And just making that global impact that I envisioned as a news reporter, but doing it in health.
How about you personally? Where do you see yourselves in the next 5 years?
Well, I kind of answered that, so.
Well, just older, but still carrying the word on about ASEA, because this is the stories I've heard and the people's lives that I've just been able to change by just educating people about this and having them try it, have touched me beyond what I could even express, basically. It's just so amazing, especially with little children, when you can turn their lives around. And so I just see myself continuing to do this, telling everybody pretty much that I meet, as long as I have enough time. And my business will just keep on growing and growing. I want to continue to be one of the top leaders of the company, just because I actually promised our founder and gave him my word that I would keep spreading the word about this, because he said, I can't do this without all of your help. Will you help me get this word out? And we said,
cool.
yes. Yep.
Very cool. Where can people find more about you?
Whatever. I'm on almost every social media platform. I don't know if people, I mean, I can give out my email and number, and or you can find me on, like I said, Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram. It's just my first and last name. If people would like to email, my email is J and then Wetzler, which you can see WETZLER 116@gmail.com. You're welcome to phone me as well, and I can give out my phone number. It's 301-502-8716. And then Mom.
Well, and I can just let you get to us through Jackie. I'm helping my team grow, and Jackie's, of course, one of my team. So you could get in touch with me through her. I'm on social media, all of them also, as Debbie Wetzler. But contact Jackie if you want more information about this, definitely.
Okay, we will put we'll put all the information in with the show notes so everybody has easy access to you and more information about ASEA and how to get started with it. Any final thoughts?
Yes,
Well,
I would
if
say
you became a part of the team, they could get in touch with you if you're going to try it. But go ahead, Jackie. And then
I was just going to say, like, a lot of people, when you hear something, they right away Google something. You're going to see the good and bad on everything. So make sure you get intelligent information and actual research about this, because there are people out there that don't want us out there. So just get in touch if you want good education, good information about this, and get all your questions answered.
And so what she's talking about is going to scholar.google instead of just Google. Google is just a search engine. It's not a research engine, but Scholar Google can be a research engine. And so there's over 1.6 million articles about redox on that site. And then if you go to pubmed.gov, which is an international public library of health, you'll see all the studies done with redox. They can make them at NIH and different places. They're just not stable. We're the only ones that have been able to stabilize them. So as they come to you in the bottle, they're stable until they touch anything organic, which is your mouth, where you take it and stuff like that, or your skin. And then they go right to work. So I would just say exactly what Jackie is. Keep your mind open. Science has kept up with an Apple phone and the technology. It's just that people mostly aren't interested in science, so they don't keep up with the great advancements that have been made and stuff like that until it becomes much more, like it's in every doctor's office or something like that. But this is a real breakthrough, and people should know that.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming on the show. My curiosity has gone from piqued to intrigued, which means I am probably going to try it and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. As you should.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing to lose. I mean, if there's no side effects other than diarrhea or whatever, it's like, yeah, okay, it's just a normal day almost.
If you drink that much water, you wouldn't have that. So there you go.
All right. And I'm really curious to see, like, my supplements are coming in, and they're very clean supplements. I've been in the supplement world for 20 years. So supplements that I take are really clean. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep all my listeners and all the watchers out there posted and what's happening with me in my journey. I always love bringing on people like you who have this really intriguing, really interesting perspective on health and wellness, other than my doctor told me this, my doctor told me that. And it's important for you ladies to come on and start talking about other aspects of health. I know here in Canada, we have our problems with our health system. Everybody thinks it's great. It's not great. When you're going in for an MRI 6 months into the future, you may die within that 6 months because everything is quote unquote free. Nothing in this world is free. I have this misconception. So for you ladies to come out here and give a different perspective, a different product to try and help somebody, add a couple extra years to their life to enjoy with their grandkids, with their kids, with their spouse, with their whatever. It's always a pleasure to have you on here and talk about your products. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Going through,
wish you the best.
Thank you. Going through hard times is just a test. What you need to know is that when you get out of whatever you're going through, you will be stronger than ever before, and you don't need to go through it alone. Always know that you are not alone. Stay tuned for more real people with amazing stories that are just like yours. Until then, to everyone out there listening, I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, or good night wherever you may be in this crazy world. Hey guys, John from Resilient Reboot Productions and the Fitness Oracle. I just wanted to thank you for watching this episode, and I really do hope that you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and share this episode if you are watching this on YouTube or on Rumble. If you are listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker FM, or whatever streaming service that you may be using, please give us a 5-star rating and a positive review, as it will help us reach out to more people that are suffering from mental health issues. Now, if you haven't done so already, I am offering access to a free weekly newsletter that we send out every Sunday, and it's jam-packed with podcasting tips and health and wellness tips to keep you balanced in the podcasting and content creating space. So if you haven't done so already, sign up to this free newsletter. It's totally free, and it also gives you access to the Fitness Oracle private community in Mighty Networks, where we talk about this episode. We talk about how you have implemented these lessons that you've picked up in your life and how it's impacted your life. And we are working on a lot of great other programs and support systems for you guys to be able to access. So if you haven't done so already, sign up to the newsletter, and I'll see you guys on the inside.